Hello, it is Matthew with Dead to Rights. It's been a while since I've done a video, and I've got a lot of reasons for that, but not a lot of good ones. You know, it's when you make a habit out of something, it gets easier to do it for the most part. I mean, sometimes there are challenges to habit building, and I'm not one with a lot of experience in habit building because I break habits more than I make them, right? But then my issue is that as soon as you break the habit that you're trying to build, it becomes incredibly easy to continue to break it and just to say, not today, not today, not today. And well, yeah, there are reasons to why I said that, but uh, not a lot of good ones. Some of them might be good. I'm not going to say there's no good reasons that I was kind of not doing videos, and some of it is just the time of year that it was. Well, the time of year that it is, it's dark early. When I'm going to work, it's dark. When I'm heading home, the sun's kind of at an awkward angle that just shines right on me. And not that that stops me from talking, because that's all this is. And I mean, let's be honest, there's not a lot of people listening to it anyways. And if there are people listening to it, they're probably not watching it because there's nothing to watch. It's just listening. But for me, I don't know, it became a distraction, I guess. And then a few months before Christmas, work just got really busy. Life just got really busy. I actually did a video talking about just the difficulty I was having, not with work. I enjoy work. I like to work. But the difficulty of there's things that I want to do with my life that I more or less don't feel like I'm really accomplishing, and I don't know how to accomplish exactly. Um, I want to be able to teach more. I want to be able to share the gospel. I want to be a part of God's love and His grace and His peace being made known to people who've never heard it. That's something that I really am interested in doing with my life and with my time, and that's difficult with a full-time job, and especially I work in construction. Sometimes I end up working 400 hours in a month, like I did in October and in November. And life just gets crunched, and there are stresses that build up with things like that. And I'm not used to that. There's stresses on marriage and trying to parent a child under one, and he's growing and he needs time, and my wife needs time, and she needs help, and I get home tired. And I'm learning, or I've been learning, just even throughout all of the time that we've had our son. See, this is what I'm talking about. The sun just absolutely, killing the lighting and everything. And I see it, and it bothers me, but, nobody else is looking at this, so it shouldn't bother me that much. But, I've been learning a lot about fatherhood and about being a husband and about working and laboring for your family and for those that you love. We've had things that have gone on in my family. In the last 6 months, there's been three deaths in my family, and some of them were expected. Uh, some of them were not expected. Actually, there's four deaths in my family, and people that I love. Um, People that I haven't gotten to see very often. People who are close to me or close to my wife, who we love very much. And the reality of death is just, it's a lot. I've been blessed tremendously. Up until this year, I had all four of my grandparents alive. I'm in my 30s. All four grandparents. I knew two of my biological great-grandparents. Actually, no, I knew three of my biological great-grandparents. One of them died when I was very young, but I remember him. You know, and I've reflected recently that death, there is no, there is no perfect picture of death. When to die, how to die. I mean, obviously, you don't want anybody to die tragically. But the reality is, you just don't want people to die. And even for me, I hope and believe, and when I say I hope, I mean I hope in it in the sense of in the true sense of the word, not the way that people typically use the word. I hope in heaven. I have an anticipation that there is a life beyond this one. And it's not just some fleeting, well, I hope that it happens, but I don't know. No, I fully believe. I am convinced. I'm convinced of this, that there is a Christ, the Lord, the God of heaven and earth, who made a way for death to be defeated and for life to be everlasting. Good life. Not this life. Good, better life. I hope in that. I have faith in that. But even with that hope, when a loved one dies, even a loved one who has that same hope, who I believe I will see one day, it's difficult. It is incredibly difficult to watch someone die. And I don't typically have a lot of emotions. Sometimes I do about certain things. But for the most part, I control my emotions. It's hard to watch somebody who you have memories of. It's hard to watch them waste away. I mean, literally, just wasting away. I didn't intend for this video um, to be about this. I have a topic I want to talk about probably in another video, but I was just kind of explaining. I guess I just was talking a little bit about why I haven't done any videos. I was busy with work. I was busy. I was doing a class that I really was excited about. That was about a lot of things that I want to achieve in my life. There's a lot of questions about what am I gonna do coming up, that I really hope to accomplish things in my life that are lasting. Because I believe in an everlasting life. I believe in a life after this, that what I do in this life matters so far as it has effect in the next one, right? So I want to orient my life. And that doesn't mean that you can't work and have a job. It just means that when you're thinking and acting in this life, that you're doing so with the mentality that there is something greater than this, something beyond this, there's an expectation. And so I've been taking a class doing that, and then at the same time, we've had family things that have happened, and just the difficulty, like I was saying, of watching people who you love, who you have great memories of. They were strong, capable people. And you've seen over your lifetime their bodies and their minds waste away until I'm not going to say they're not the same person, because they are, because their soul is the same. And so many of my loved ones who we've watched over the last few years, just in the process of dying, continued to have great love, for their families. But it's just something that's difficult. It's difficult to watch. Death is difficult. And there's the sober reality that I will die one day. You know, you're watching it and you're sitting there going, man, it feels like just yesterday I was 20. I was in college. I just met my future wife. I didn't know she was gonna be my future wife at that time, but it just seems like yesterday. I was looking at pictures. You know, I was looking at because phones these days like to give you memories of, you know, on this day so many years ago. Here's all your pictures and all this stuff, right? Well, I was looking back and I was seeing these pictures of me in the first year of my marriage and the second year of my marriage, and that was, I mean, I've let's see, it'll be 8 years coming up this year. 8 years of marriage, so 7 years ago, and I'm sitting there going, I've got that shirt. Hey, I got that shirt. I still have that jacket. Man, I still have those shorts. I've got that hat. You know, I feel like I just got that shirt yesterday. I remember getting this shirt from Old Navy. I remember shopping with my mother-in-law at Old Navy and getting this shirt and saying, man, I like this shirt. I like the color of it. I like the feel of it. I remember going to Ross or TJ Maxx and getting that jacket because I was working outside all the time and I needed a heavy duty winter coat because I was just working on the forklift. First year of marriage, making $14 an hour. And this is where I say I don't get emotional much. But some things are hard, right? I'm a father now. I've been married almost 8 years. I just watched my mom. I just watched my mom lose her parent. I just lost my first grandparent. My wife lost a grandparent. My cousins lost a father. We all lost an uncle. Tragically. This life is short. And even if it's long, I'm glad I got sunglasses. Huh. Even if this life is long, it's still so short. I remember my papa teaching me how to ride his tractor. I remember going fishing with him and seeing manatees in Florida. I remember going to the Okefenokee Swamp, looking at the gators. I remember him in his shop, in his garage, working on knives, making knives by hand. And that all felt like it wasn't that long ago. I can ask my mom about her childhood with her father, and she would tell me it just felt like yesterday. A few years ago, I thought my dad was going to die from an illness. That feels like just yesterday. It was 2 years ago. And then I think about the future. It's going to feel like tomorrow to my son. It's going to feel like tomorrow to me when one of my parents dies, or my wife's parents, or me. And what am I leaving behind? What am I carrying on from my parents? From those that I love and those that I care about and those who mean something so deeply to me and to my son as he grows up. To my son, am I just going to leave behind money? Am I going to give him an education? Am I going to teach him some things that are cool or helpful for life? Yeah, I hope so. I was telling my wife, not yesterday, but just this weekend, I said, if I die, you have to promise me, if I ever die and I don't get to raise my son, you have to promise me that you're going to raise him to be a man who takes care of you. That at 14 years old, he would feel the responsibility of a man to care for his mother. I hope I get to live long enough to see my son grow up into a man, that I get to watch him become a strong and healthy young man. That I get to raise him to look at this world and to look at how men are raised in this world, how young men are raised in this world, and to reject that. To say there's something better for men. It's not what Andrew Tate says. It's not what, I don't know, the Fresh and Fit guys say. It's what God says a man is. And it's not sitting around playing video games at 25 years old, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm saying that can't overcome your responsibilities to provide and to protect and to love and to cherish, to work hard with your hands so that you can be generous to the poor. These are things I want to instill, and this last 6 months, I have just been constantly confronted with the fact that death happens to everyone, and it happens so short. And even in a long life, it happens short. Even my papa, who lived a long life, it is never long enough. And there is no good time to die. When a child dies, when you have a miscarriage, and the pain and the suffering that accompanies that, you didn't have enough time. When somebody dies at 80, 85, 95, 105, and you love them, you're never ready to see them go. You don't want to see them suffer, of course, but you don't want to see them go. The process of death is brutal, and there is something in our hearts that screams that it's not right, that there's something wrong with death. That death itself is not just. Why else do all the billionaires and tech people want to figure out how to prolong life? Is this life so great? No, this life is not so great. Goodness gracious, you break bones, you get old, you decay, you suffer and you hurt. I'm 31 years old, and I hurt all the time. Not all the time, but I wake up one day and I go, why am I sore? And I go, oh, that's right, because I moved 15 doors. And my body hurts and my muscles hurt. You experience pain and hardship. You have relationships that are broken. You have sickness and suffering. You've got wars. And this isn't a referendum on who's right and who's wrong in these wars. It's just you have wars and you have rumors of wars and you have fear and you have fatigue. You have anger and bitterness and you have rivalries and divisions between people. This life is not great. But we all, even in this life that's not great, even in this life that we know is not all that it's cracked up to be, we still look at death and we say there's something wrong with it. Somebody has to fix it. And that's what I want my life to be about. I want my life to be about telling people, how do you fix death? Because there's a solution to it. There is life and light that every man and every woman and every child can find if they just open their eyes and they look for it. And they need a little bit of help. I'm not very good help. Me and myself and me alone I am not very good help in figuring out life. But I will tell you, that I once was in darkness and I once was suffering under the weight of death. And then one day I experienced the light of life, the light that is only found in Jesus Christ, and it changed my life. And I'm still trying to figure it all out. But my life's goal, I want to be helping others figure out how to find life, how to conquer death. I mean, that's just it. So that's kind of, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to, I want to try to do these videos again, and that's just it. I can make excuses, but I don't want to. I can make reasonings, and I can look at life and I can learn from it. But the reality is, I want to do this because it's just one avenue I get to try to tell people about life in a very dark and dying world. And so that's just it. So anyways, this is a longer one than I thought it was going to be. I hope to talk about the futility of arguing Christianity, about arguing Jesus, apologetics, the futility of apologetics, and why I don't try to engage in it. In fact, I actively try to disengage from apologetics for the most part. And sometimes I get into internet debates, but anyways, that is what I'm hoping to have for a video soon. Other than that, I hope you are blessed. I hope you have a great day, a great week. I hope that you have life. And if you don't, I hope that you start asking where it is. Because there's life to be had. Abundant free life. Liberty and justice. And it's great. So that's going to be it for this one. Talk to you guys again soon.